Hey guys, welcome back into FFP Sports, where we talk about experiences, things to do, places to go, and it's all to help you stay active, stay healthy in your life. Now, today's topic is going to be about exactly that, why it matters to have a healthy, active lifestyle, the changes, the barriers, the things you can overcome. And today, I have a guest that's going to talk about his journey and what he's gone through. And I know there's going to be a lot of bits that you can relate to. This was supposed to be, or is supposed to be, about a 20-minute talk. I had in my mind it could go to 90 if we don't watch out what we do. So let's see how we can kind of refine and put this in. But it's going to be valuable information to you. Before we do get started, as always, a big thank you to Buzzer, our sponsor for today's episode. You can simply download this way. Which way am I going? This way. Download Buzzer here. Scan the QR code. Buzzer helps you to earn money by putting up content on sports. So simply, if you love sports like we do, download the Buzzer app, upload your sports content, and straight away you can start making money simply by scrolling, viewing, and posting. Simple as that. Let's get into it. Lee, he's sitting on the other side. Here he is, the man of the moment. Lee, thanks for your time, mate. It's a quick introduction of what's been going to happen in the next 20 minutes. I'm going to throw it out there.
Right,
So thanks, mate. We literally did like a 5-minute quick off-air who, what, where, why, how, when type of thing. And literally, I quickly discovered this could go from 15, 20 to literally an hours of conversation. So we're going to try and refine it as much as possible. Yes. The first place we'll start off with is context. Just give a quick 30-second context of you. Who are you? Okay. What do you like?
Yeah, so my name is Lee. On Instagram, I'm Desert Dad. So I basically just post my journey now, get back into multisports triathlon. I'm also an entrepreneur, should we say. I'm a co-founder of a beverage brand, and I'm just trying to juggle everything between being a dad, being an entrepreneur, business owner, and just juggling it all and trying to highlight that anybody can really, get involved in sports, no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're starting or you're finding the love again, like I am at 40. That's kind of like, in a nutshell, what my plan is and what I want to help.
Well, that's bloody beautiful, and you're so young, being a 40-year-old young man. You've gone through a journey, and I kind of want to start there as well, because on the entrepreneurial side, you started the business, around the sake that you don't want to give your kids soda, right?
For sure.
So my first question is, why is that important to you?
Obviously, there's so much in this world, right, for the kids. I'm not saying we're the sugar police, everything's in moderation, but, having drinks is a hydration, right? It's a very vital part of day-to-day for anyone, whether you're a child or an adult. And we was never willing to give them the sugary drinks, right? Like from a young age, we've always said no, because obviously the long-term effects, and you can see it a lot for sure, especially in this region in the UAE, there's, high case of diabetes, and obviously around the world it's growing. So
massively,
we kind of beat the curve, this is like 6 years ago, but prior to that, we've always had a zero policy in terms of the kids' sugary drinks.
I love it. Does that expand into other things as well? Is it just the sugary side, or why is it that, for you, why eliminate or why reduce, more importantly, sugar?
Yeah, so obviously everything's in moderation, right? Like that's the journey. Even if you're just a child or if you're an athlete or anything like you can have a bit of something, but you have to counteract it with something good. So we've never really, we've not highlighted it too much, but we just restricted certain things. They know it's good and bad, and they see people having it. Like, for example, if my kids, when they were young, because we don't smoke, if they see people smoking, they will literally like point the finger at them and say, look, they're smoking. Like, it's, but it's not force. It's just, education, right? That's the key thing to kids. Like, for example, my son, who's the oldest child, I mean, he's 15 years old. If you give him strawberries, he goes wild for some reason, worse than if he had sugar. But it's just, it's a balance of everyone's childs are different. They all react different to certain things. And it's just, like I say, it's just education. We've never restricted anything, day to day that would be a lie, apart from the sugary soda drinks that are just too much, right? So giving them a small piece of cake as a treat or anything like that, but then you're making sure they're having the fruit and vegetables, and the right proteins, carbohydrates, without them knowing, right? Kind of like
Yeah.
balancing it out to educate them. Like they
Yeah.
go to their friends' houses and they see what they eat. They see that it's not, normal to have certain things, and they'll kind of like highlight that and educate their friends, which is what you want to do, right? Without forcing it.
Yeah, 100%. Because, like, from my side, it's literally, I know how bad sugar is for my body personally. I mean, I've been a trainer for years, but it's also the fact that it's not really about the sugar. It's that I want to be able to do stuff, and I know when I have sugar, it's going to slow me down. It's going to stop me. It's going to give me inflammation and soreness that I just don't need.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what the trigger for me and what I live in my lifestyle. It's not like I'm the same.
Exactly.
I'm not like going to
Everyone's
pull out a
different, right?
yeah, exactly. I'm not going to pull out a sword and say, "Hey, put that down," kind
No.
of thing. But it is quite interesting based on that line, and we'll get into a little bit more about the drinks and stuff, because they've also put on here in the United Arab Emirates, they've stopped the promotion of fast foods. There's a lot of things going on here around the region that's about, okay, live healthy, get more active. A lot of initiatives. The cycling tracks have been improved now, or lengthened, I should say, extended, however you want to look at it. There's a big drive between the e-bikes that are around for people to get on top of and they'll use when they're at the beach or wherever they are to get around. So it's something for the industry or something for the space in this region to keep developing as a healthy, active mindset or healthy, active lifestyle. Do you feel that here being in the Emirates?
100%. Like, for example, if you just go to like Kite Beach in the morning, right? I don't really go there that much. I fit around my time, but when I go there and you see the presence of people training there or the communities, Al Qudra cycle track, like it's a buzz here, right? And the fitness is a buzz. You can see, like, I've lived a lot of places in the world, lived in the US, lived in Europe, certain things like that. And here you can definitely tell the push is big. Like when you go to the events, how passionate people are about the events, the events managers, the organizers behind it, also the government behind it. Like, for example, when it's summertime, you have the maulathon where people are running the mall. They try everything they can here to promote healthy living. There's still a change, there's still a shift. That you're always going to face that, but I do believe this is one of the best places in terms of fitness and how it's growing. And like you say, the infrastructure is going to be, if not already one of the best, it will be one of the best in the world by far. For sports, like whatever you do, like I say to anyone, if you come to Dubai, whatever your sport is or whatever your hobby is, you will find it. You'll find the group. You'll find a clique. There is a massive presence here for sports and just being healthier, right? And like you say, obviously the fast food side is so easy here, right? You can have something on your door within 10 to 15 minutes. It's just deciding what you want to have on your door, right? Is how you do it. And I think that still needs work, needs a bit of change, but I do believe people are, definitely more educated in this region. From an outside looking in, you probably wouldn't see that, but obviously being on the day to day here, living here, being surrounded by them people, there is a huge presence here for the health and definitely fitness industry for sure.
Let's tap on that because of yourself personally. Obviously, you got this mindset of that as well. Environment is huge. I mean, you want to surround yourself with those people that are in that same space, or at least in that space that you want to get to. Right. So for you, how was it finding the right fit, I suppose?
Yeah, see, obviously, because I do triathlons, that's kind of, I mean, a lot of people say it's kind of a selfish sport in terms of like, you turn up to the event, you're eyeing everyone up, everyone's your like, not enemy, but competitor, right? So, but even still, the support here for training, same with the cycle track. I literally fell onto getting back into triathlon just because I wanted to start doing it again. But initially, I went on the cycle track, Al Qudra, with just my new bike. I literally joined on the back of a group and just said, they said, "Oh, join us if you want." Like it was literally as simple as that. And then I got involved with that group and started speaking to people, realized who they are, the connections they have. And it just kind of grew, right? Every single time you go to an event, I meet people. Like everyone is so open and welcoming here. I think everybody's here for the same reason, right? We want to grow. We want to build. This region is obviously massively all about that. Everyone comes here to, I believe, better themselves. And the relationship, and even when I'm not there, I'm an observer, right? Even if when I'm just training, but you see people when they go to like certain places, it's a community, right? There's so many things here that people are doing, and you all just want to grow in this region. And I do think it's a very good place to find what you need in terms of whatever sport you're doing. And my kids play sports as well. So my daughter plays football, my son does paddle, and other varieties of sports. But there's literally everything here for everyone, and they really do push it, and they all want to excel.
Okay, awesome. You guys have your comments, questions, put them in the comment section, whether here on the live or in the replay as well. Lee, I'm going to ask you about the flip side. What are the barriers for people to get active here?
I think one thing that we touched on is obviously finding the right, the network, the connection. Like, you can be a bit put off if you're not familiar. Like, if I was getting into triathlon, then where do you look, in terms of like finding the right group, finding the right place? There's still that narrow point here because you can go to Facebook groups, Instagram, but, sometimes it can look very intense. So, there's still that pattern here that needs to be changed because, there's more established groups in other places, around the world. And usually, like, if you're part of a group in other countries, you are together there full time, right? Like, you grow up with a club. Here, you got to try and find a club because everyone here usually is on their own, right? They're not with family and friends, or they've not got that. So it's kind of finding it. And I do know there's a lot more people trying to set that up, but it's still early in the process for sure.
Yeah, definitely an evolution here. Like, there is through the running clubs. I mean, it's probably the easiest to compare. Like, there's literally hundreds of running clubs here in the region, whether they from 5 to 500 people, whatever you want to look at it from. There's also a lot of triathlon groups as well, isn't there?
Yes. It's just finding the right one, right? Because it can be very off-putting. Like, if you see on the Instagram or the videos, you think everyone is like a world-class athlete, right? And you're like, I'm never going to fit in. And I think that's what we need to kind of break down a little bit more, highlight a bit more that anybody can do it. There's no, in terms of every sport, right? Everyone starts, for example, if you look at, some of the best runners in the world, none of them could run fast, at some stage in their life. Everybody's got to work. It's all about discipline and the mentality and the mindset. And like, now, me coming back into triathlon, I'm an age group athlete. So I'm racing against people in my age. When it comes to the finish line, it's not the person who finishes in front of me. I could be first in my age group. It's having a different mindset, like you say, in terms of like knowing your limits. I know I'm never going to beat an 18-year-old, that's not going to happen. But in my category,
not an elite 18-year-old.
Not an elite 18-year-old. Not, that's for sure. But like, obviously I'll try. My head is still 18, so I'll still try and run as fast as I can. But it's just finding what your goals are, right? That's the main thing. And, making sure when you go there, you've got your own expectations and you're not trying to overachieve straight away.
It is funny when you talk about that because a lot of people always have on their promotions, their marketing, they got like, open to all levels, but then they only promote these elitists, like the right gear, the right cap, the right bike, and all that kind of stuff.
That's it. I mean, I'm still winging it right now, right? I had all the gear, I had a lot of stuff, but now I've just got a road bike. I've got a 10-year-old wetsuit. I've just finally brought a new tri-suit, and the only thing I've spent, waiting until they go on sale is my running shoes, right? Because that's the key thing for me. Everything else is like a bonus. Like, you can have a 20, 30K bike and you can have a 5K bike. You could probably have a better time or an experience than the guy there. He could get a mechanical, and you could cruise past him on your tricycle. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no, just go out and enjoy yourself and don't have too much like high expectation for yourself.
And there is also opportunities to rent out bikes around here as well, right? Maidan.
Yeah, there's loads. Loads of places. I've spoke to places. I know quite a few of the cycle shops. Got good relationships with them. You can pick up, like say, rental opportunities here. There was something now that I've seen that's now they're going around the autodrome, and you can rent bikes to go around the autodrome again. They're always looking at things to do, right? Especially for all the sports.
I kind of want to bring this back around to. You started the business 7 years ago. You got into that. There was a reason behind it. The kids with the Instigator. What was the kind of development over the last 7 years of what the impact you're looking to have? Yeah,
sure. So the impact is just like, say, the main thing for me is education, right? Like, always has been education and changing people's, idea of the whole drinks industry, making it more, trying to say the right word for this one. Just giving people more of an option and understanding of what the drink is all about. The industry in general. We've faced a lot of hurdles in terms of our drink, with sugar taxes coming in. And trying to keep a clean label. we had loads of people, obviously, when we done our drink, telling us to put this in the drink, put that in the drink, and it's clever marketing, clever gimmicks. Our whole ethos is trying to be, number one, affordable for everyone, keep it as a product that everybody can buy. That's always been our like key ethos, not to go too high, too crazy. Only work with good people is obviously a key thing for our whole brand, and it's around kids. Like our kids developed the brand, they tried the flavors. My daughter, the eldest daughter, she does all the illustrations on the drinks cans still to this day, because you can color in the can. That's kind of like the USP. So
Nice.
yeah, it's a family brand, right? And it really means a lot to us. And if we, like, for me, if I can educate one person and change their drinks, whether it's ours or something else, to make them more aware of what they're taking in as a family, then I've done my job. And yeah, we've faced a lot. And obviously, when we initially was developing for this region, it sounds bizarre, but it's very true. As we was developing the flavors for this region that day, the announcement came out about the sugar tax in this region.
Oh, yeah.
So we was like ahead of the curve. Like you want sugar, but not too much, right? Like there's got to be a basis. Like we're well against preservatives, added colors. We make sure ours is as clean as possible for kids, and it's one of the drinks I drink because it's easy for me on my stomach as well. So yeah, it's a win-win.
You make some really good points on that. I suppose you got to look at personality traits or characteristics when it comes to people, because it's not as simple as going like, okay, healthy's good for you, for a stupid example. It's actually, there needs to be education behind it. What are I suppose when I'm thinking about this, a lot of supplement companies come out with the cookie dough option, or they're trying to create an option that's still chips or still something, that's related to what they want to have. So people when they think of sweets, they think chocolate, sweets, cookie dough, Oreo, yada, yada, yada. And so, like, as a very basic example, they'll put cookie dough as a flavor or Oreo as a flavor because it's a popular flavor if it comes to protein. Is that a necessity when it comes to building a brand? Like, you've got to kind of find that middle ground as far as health and buy-in, I suppose?
Yeah, see, we had a lot of opportunities to do like various like flavors and wild flavors and stuff like that. We've kind of kept to the core in terms of like fruits that are, when you pick up our can, you can see what the fruit is. If it's either an orange or a cherry or mango or an apple. We never wanted to deviate away from that because, like you say, I think it kind of loses brand credibility as well. Like there's some of these wild flavors out there, right? And I understand there's a market for that, but I feel like you're kind of tripping people up, aren't you? Because you're getting them to crave that thing, but you're also trying to sell you're healthy. But to get to that fake flavor, you've got had additives in there or preservatives or certain things that aren't good for you. So yeah, we've been very strict with our brand, and at first people thought we was crazy, but now the tables are kind of turning. It's kind of proven its point. It's hard, of course it is, especially in this region. But our drinks in this region, we've stuck with like mango, pineapple, and orange, and apple. Like we could go, like I'll be honest, we could go and make a drink that's full of all the tutti fruity candy floss stuff, and probably make a lot of money, right? And have a quick hit. But our brand is a longevity, it's a legacy, and that's what we're trying to create for our kids because they're part of the brand. So it's I take it very personal on that side, that you have to be true. And I think a lot of people are more aware to that now. A lot of parents, a lot of children, even children now are some of the most critical people in terms of they have the access to everything on their phone or iPads. So they can analyze a drink. Probably they're more educated than we was at their age because they have all the tools to know the ingredients and, watch whatever people are saying. So yeah, you've got to be very careful because the buying power does come with the kids. Especially in this region, right? Like they go to a supermarket or they can go on an app and they can say, we want this. So that's what we're trying to create in this region is it's a brand you can trust. What you see is what you get. And, we're very vocal. Well, we will be very vocal on that for sure.
What is, how about this one? Because you've gone through a personal journey as well, right? And I think it's a good thing to have as far as the experience. You were it was Marines?
Just in the military, in the engineers, it was in the army, yeah.
Yeah, in the army. Then you worked on an oil rig, and then you've gone to space, been over here. You've travelled to different places around the world. Life has ups and downs. I mean, let's be honest. And we all go through it. Someone who pretends to have the perfect life of great energy, great fitness, great whatever, yada yada yada, is simply lying.
Yeah.
What was some of the, I suppose, what's a highlight that happened that kind of changed you to go? Because I know, okay, I'm going to put this out there. So, like for myself, for example, I went through a full career of fitness, internationally teaching around the world, yada yada yada, and then got to a burnout stage, kind of crash, fell off the wagon as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
Lost my way a bit, and then had to find my way back to getting into activity. Now you've kind of gone through a similar journey there. Can you quickly explain that, and then what was the key points in that journey?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so obviously I was in the military. The military is a very busy lifestyle. I was working then offshore. That was the same, very active. You have to be very fit, doing that kind of stuff. Then I went through a bit of a patch. I was still doing triathlon at that time. I was very, very forward focused. I was a lot younger, so I was really going hard at it. Then I stopped training for other reasons, just life, general, kids. One of my child was not very well at the time, so it kind of took over a lot. And yeah, I kind of crashed. I started to suffer a lot with like combat PTSD, and it all came at the same time, right? So I went down to just, going from being active to then, 125 kg, not very good, just everything was such a struggle. And then I made a very big decision to have a gastric sleeve. This is like a life-changing operation. And that's kind of a key point in my life where I kind of turned and knew that I needed to take on, get a hold of my life, my nutrition. It was really that point that kind of drove me to see there's more to life. I obviously serve with a lot of people who've got injured in the military. So one thing I always kind of relate to every time I'm running, cycling, biking, whatever, or training, I always, obviously there's everyone says this is quite annoying, saying that get comfortable being uncomfortable. Like a lot of people put that in their head. I kind of like put that in my head, but also then think about the guys who I've served with who've got limbs missing, got legs missing, who are still, getting up every morning and doing it against the odds, but they must be in immense pain, right? So, like, what's my excuse? There is no excuse, right? Everyone has their good and bad times, but if you can figure out your mental side, like I don't look. If anyone sees me at the start line, I don't look like somebody who's going to go and run, sub 4-minute kilometers. I don't fit that like persona of someone, but because my mental game is so strong, I will give it all and I'll just adapt and figure out how I can, do my best on the day, right? And that's what people need to like work on. Is just find out your mental game and work on that.
Yeah. What is it? What was the kind of flicker switch, or what was the thought that came through to make that decision or to make that change? Or was it a scare factor or a want factor?
Yeah, see, well, having children, right? Like you're their biggest role model. That was key for me. Like, how can I ask them to go and perform or do what they are if I'm not looking my best? Like you only have one chance as a parent, and the older they get, the less of an influence you have on their life. So at that young age, you're such a big role model. I didn't have that role model growing up. So, and I was looking for that, I was always looking for that, well done gratification. So because I worked away a lot, I've always made it key that no matter what, I'll be there, whether it's a football game or any form of sporting event, I will make sure I'm there and I'm present. If I'm not, then like with my daughter, she'll go and do a football and I'll be there. And we'll always have like a just a discussion at the end of the whatever she's done. And same with like when she's doing the running events or anything like that, right? Like I think it's just making sure you've brought them into their world. You need to give them the best version of you for them to give them best version of themselves.
Can we quickly go back to the gastric sleeve for people that don't know about it? What is it?
Yeah. So gastric sleeve is basically you've got like there's like the balloon you can have where you put the balloon in your stomach and it can be removed, but a gastric sleeve, so basically they remove like 90% of your stomach. So it's gone. So you're going for an operation, keyhole surgery, they staple it completely away. So it's irreversible. So to put it blunt, for me, if I eat, it's like a gate is closed. I can't eat anymore. No matter what I do, you physically cannot get it in. And I'm also very, any form of like artificial MSG or anything like that because they remove a hormone in your body. So I can't have anything. My body will just reject it straight away. They call it like dumping syndrome. So without going too much, if I eat a certain thing that's bad, I'm running to the toilet. I get like foam in my mouth. It's crazy. Like when I first started having that, I was like literally like, what have I done? This is insane. So it's a complete education. And same with like, obviously I don't get enough like vitamins in and certain things like that. So when I'm training, I've really got to I'm learning every day in terms of like what I can take in because everybody else can carb load. I can't carb load because I literally can't eat much bread or pasta or anything like that. So I've got to like try and figure it out. And same with like when I'm doing a sport, I have to really think carefully about what I'm taking in, how I can take it in. So like the bike for me is like getting as much as possible. And, same with the run. If I don't have the right amount of magnesium and, the right amount of glucose in certain parts, then I'll cramp up and I'll just flake. Like there's a movie called Paul Blart, The Mall Cop. I don't know if you've watched it anyway. So he's like hyperglycemic. So that will literally be me. If I don't figure it out, that's my worst nightmare that I'm going to be doing an event and I'm just going to crash to the floor. So it's a very, like, honestly, after I do certain things in the house, because I've been a bit more like not lazy, but in terms of like, because I'm in the house, I'm a bit more easy, but I'd do like a run or a bike on the turbo train and I'd get off and it's just full dizzy. I have to like stop, figure myself out, and then I'm like, okay, I need to top up straight away. Like it's hard, but yeah, it's just like amplifies what most people go through.
That's first of all, to get at that point and to have that, like for me, it's really, really interesting because of it's the getting to that point, right? And obviously, this wasn't like, hey, another day overweight, let's just go get this.
Yeah.
There was a process you had to go through to get to that point, right? To making that decision.
Yeah.
What was the other things you tried, and why, in your opinion, did they not work for you?
Yes, I've done all forms of diets, all forms of restriction. Like I wasn't an unhealthy eater. I just had an unhealthy habit with food in terms of like, I just had no off switch. Like, the way I grew up, the generation we are, you
Same.
have to eat. You can't leave the table, right? I couldn't leave the table until I've met all my food, regardless of what it was. And being in the military,
Open
like
the packet.
Yeah, you just everything for me. I've got an addictive personality in terms of everything's a competition, no matter what I do. Like even if it's walking around, doing anything, I always want to be first in my head. Like even if I do the dishwasher, I have to do it a certain way, like or whatever, right? Like it's just I have to have that challenge all the time. And the same with food. I had such an unhealthy relationship with food in terms of like I didn't have an off switch, so I just keep eating, even though I knew because usually I could counteract it in terms of like I could eat a lot, but I could train a lot. But then as my life got busier, it's certain things that there was no way impossible I could fit that in my life. And it was definitely the right decision for sure. Like I say, for somebody to have that, you've got to really look deep down and figure out what it's going to do because nobody kind of prepared me for what it was. I've done a lot of research, and obviously before you had it, I went to a very legitimate hospital. You have a lot of like checks before they sit down with you, make sure you're making the right decision. I know a lot of people can go off and just go to other countries and have it done, but same with anything, right? I like to research. I'm like an engineer in trade, so I'm an analyst as well. I want to make sure I've made the right decision, for myself and also how it's going to affect me long term, right? And what it's done is just create a better relationship for me in terms of food, and just my general health and well-being has massively improved from it. Obviously, certain things I have to do, like I say, I have to inject myself with B12 every 2 to 3 weeks. That's a big commitment that you have to make. And also, there's other things that I can and can't do that I know are restricted by it.
Well, let's go through. Can we go through some of these points then? Because, like, when you try to diet and it didn't work for you, like, I really like that you've hit on the point. It's the habit that's hard to break, right? Like, I know so many people, actually millions would be, that open up a packet of anything, and just because it's open, they've got to finish it. Like I'm very close to that 95% of the time as well. So my biggest thing is just don't open it. I personally go through a scare factor. Like I don't open this or I don't buy this because I want to look a certain way, or more so, I want to perform a certain way. Like I love sports. I want to perform the best at a sport. So I know that if I have this, it'll slow me down, inflammation, my back might start playing up, or hips, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Right? So for me, that's my trigger, simply not to buy it, simply not to open it. What was some of
Yeah.
the things for you that you had to go through for that, like, to get, I suppose, or you struggled with as you're going through this process of trying different diets?
Yeah, so it was all part of like the whole journey in terms of like how busy I got in life, and obviously having the extra weight put on, like it really just ruined me in terms of like how I'd approach everything day to day. So I knew that I couldn't have a quick fix. I'd like to say I've tried the diets, tried everything like that. It never really hit me as a person. Everybody's different, right? Like I know there's people who can, yo-yo diet and it works for them,
Mm,
and that's fine. But I didn't want to have that relationship anymore. Like I say, because my kids were getting older, it was they're watching what you're doing as well, right? So they can
yeah.
see you. They're more aware than people think. So they're watching. I'm like, this isn't good for anyone. Like, and it was a COVID time as well. So everybody was either super fit or super fat. I don't think there's anything in between, right? Like
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
everybody went through a certain part, and obviously I was, instead of watching Netflix, we was creating a business. So
Mm,
everything was just sped up. But I've, like I said, I've always tried diets. I've gone from like extreme to like intermittent fasting and just normal diet, Atkins diet, whatever, right? Certain things worked. Like if I was younger, I could probably have dealt with it a lot better than I did. But I knew now in terms of like where I am in my life, it was never going to be that way again in terms of like doing the dieting and committing that much. Like
what was it
people have more
though?
time for me. So I need to spend more time with my children, and I didn't want to be selfish in terms of like worrying about that all the time, right? I needed to
Yeah.
just be present with them.
What was it? Was it a time issue that you struggled with the diets? Was it a environment, like other people eating other things and just joining in?
I think a big factor was definitely time. Like because we were so busy and we was like I say, I work multiple time zones still now, so it's
Mm,
just finding that time and juggling between. And obviously, one of the things is if you're busy and you're making food for the kids and you have your food, then I'd pick on their plate as well, right? Like 'cause I don't want to see it go to waste.
yeah.
Um, and not being able to train as much as I want to, like I need to train. My wife will 100% back me up. If I don't train, I'm horrible. I need to train because it's something I need to do. Whereas I know, like, I don't get when people say, I have to go to the gym. If you don't like the gym, find something else to do, right? There is so much you
Yeah.
can do. Find whatever makes you happy. Like, I enjoy it and I do. Like, there's certain things I enjoy and certain things I have to do, but I know it's part of my plan and my process of training. Like, squats, lunges, sit ups, whatever, right? Like, there's certain things you don't want to do, but find a good balance and a good percentage. And that's kind of what I was not finding in terms of my diet plan and nutrition. I just couldn't find that balance, and it really was. Let's say it wasn't just an overnight plan. It was I could see where it was going. Like
Mm,
I'm one of them people who wants to kind of plan ahead, and I could see like this is getting bad. Like I'm not getting any younger. I need to find something because it's kind of like I didn't realize until I looked in the mirror or I looked at pictures. When I look back now, I'm like, wow, like I realize how bad it is. I'll send you one offline, like a before and after, and you'll be like, that's not the same person. So
yeah.
it just affects you in so many ways, right? You can see it in people's faces. Like, I will help anyone. I've helped quite a few people who've been on a journey who are, have been, overweight, whatever you want to call it, right? And just unhealthy. And, most of the time there's stuff behind the scenes that they need to get to address to then realize, it's not just about the eating. There's other things to it. And, we're all, no one's perfect, right? And, you'll see people who might be an absolute athlete, but they're struggling as well. There's something else. Just because they look fit, there might be something else that they've been neglecting and they've put that in front. Everyone's got a story. And I think that's the main thing
Yeah.
that needs to be more highlighted, whether it's male or female, whatever, right? Like we all have a story. And I've come over when I've trained with people, who are like at the top of their game, top athletes, and you see them on a pedestal as such, but they're just human beings, right? And when you see why they're doing what they're doing it for, they're just normal people. And I think that's good. Definitely in the UAE, like there's more of that. Like you see people who are here who you would never probably brush shoulders with and go out on the bike with or run. And, you see these people and they're just, like I say, everyone's got a journey and a story. And we just
Yeah.
need to make sure that's more highlighted. And for anyone who wants to get into a sport, especially in this region, like there's someone who's going to open the door for you any day of the week.
Yeah, 100%. What was those micros, those things that you had to change? Time was a bigger issue for you. Obviously, the whole the habit you created with food. What is it that
Yeah.
you instill now today that you know that it was a struggle before? You're instilled in today's routine, your
Yeah.
daily routine. or you're still struggling even to instill? Because, like you said, it's not a snap it all changes. It's actually still a work on in progress.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I kind of make sure you have to be selfish sometimes, right? Even you have to find that time for yourself whenever it is, and you have to fit around the rest of your schedule. That's fine. But I used to neglect it and think I couldn't find time for myself, but now I do. And as you can see in the background, I've got a treadmill like here somewhere, whichever side it is, and my turbo trainer here. So I fit in. Like it's not easy, it's not normal, but you have to find that time to do it. It's so important for you. It's more important to have that time to train than it is to neglect it, because everybody else suffers in terms of if you're not your best person because you've not made yourself healthy, made yourself that time.
Yeah.
We always, and I think another thing as well, like if anyone does see my Instagram or has seen my Instagram, I'm not like fluffing it up. I'm not trying to act like I'm something I'm not. Like mine is very organic and true. And if I do a video or I do a post, I literally just say it as it is and send it. I don't edit it. I don't redo it because I want it to be real, right? Like
Yep.
I know there's a lot of people who fluff it up and you see them everywhere, right? So all I'm trying to do is make sure that somebody else can relate to how I'm doing it. Juggling life, juggling everything. Busy dad, busy lifestyle, busy business, or even if you like, your job or anything like that.
So when you say prioritize, what would be that? How would you prioritize that effort? Like for me, for example,
Yeah,
I've got to wake up. I've just got to go. No, just go get it done. Like
yeah. So because I've trained like my so I do obviously I wake up in the morning usually when the kids are in school, obviously not at the minute. So kids will go to school, that's priority. Get them to school, come back, do some work. I'll try and fit in something around 12:30 when it's a bit quieter because then if not, then I'll do it the night time. I try and do 2 training sessions if I can because I've got work US time as well. So I kind of like fit in around that time. But yeah, you've got to just find there's no right or wrong time to train or do it, or you don't have to go and post and make sure everyone knows what you've done, right? Like it's good to share and it's good to have that people know you're in that acknowledgement that you're doing. But there's so many tools to do it
what about from
and
the
make it
mindset?
around your lifestyle. Yeah, the mindset's huge.
You know what I mean? Like because that's where the problem is for people who say they don't have time. It's because they
Yeah,
don't prioritize their time.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
what's the thoughts for
100%.
you?
Yeah,
When it
yeah. I
goes to
mean,
okay,
yeah,
I've got a meeting, I've got to write out this document or whatever I've got to do. How do you switch from actually that can wait? Let me put in this 20, 30. How do you deal with that?
yeah. I mean, my wife laughs because she will sit there and she'll do certain things, and I can just literally walk out of a room and get it done and go and train because I know I've got to do it. And it is hard, but you have to do it. And of course, like my phone will be even like we're here, I'll have messages come up, emails, ping in or whatever, right? But
Yep.
you've got to, it's kind of like what I try and do is I try and see it as if I've got like a doctor's appointment. If you've got to go to that doctor's appointment, you have to do it
Yeah.
because you're not going to get a chance to get in there again or whatever it is, right? So you've got to make that an appointment in your life and stick to it. Like every day I write in a book, I just write little things. Like only started doing it recently. I did do it before, but I'd have just like key things for today. What am I going to do? How am I going to achieve it? And then at the back of the book, I have a whole list of things for this year, and I just repeat it every day. Like this is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. Like just find something that works for you. Like even something as simple. This is cheesy, but I have a Rubik's cube, and I
Nice.
make sure I do that. Just just do it for like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and I can do it now. But I couldn't do a Rubik's cube. But now it's just little things that you need to do to distract yourself away from whatever it is. Right? You have to find something for yourself that just separates away from what is expected from us every day, especially from like social media and the
Oh,
pressure we
massively.
have. Right? Like
Yeah.
it's
I use
hard. Like
Duolingo. I'm like,
yeah.
I have to do Duolingo. I have to put that time.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
That's it. But that's what you need, right? Like I know people. I speak to someone yesterday, and she's now started watching because she'll always distract herself away from what she's doing. So now she watches the show in Spanish with English subtitles because she
Oh,
has
wow.
to fully listen. So I was
Yep.
like, yeah, that's really cool. Like but this what I mean, sitting around a table and talking to people, you hear that everybody has them same struggles. Like I make sure I sit down with my daughter and she reads a book to me at night time. Like that's key. Like my youngest one who's 8, I have to make sure I give her that time because I know looking at my other 2 children, there's no way they're going to sit on their bed and read a book with me now. They're 14 and 15. Like soon I'm going to be the least thing on their mind, right? Until they scream and shout and call me because they've got a problem. But that's fine. Like, so, everything has
That's
to be
life.
juggled for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. Just enjoy it while you can.
What would be the um, what would be the kind of the number one for people in your mind that they've got to do to be active? Like people talk about discipline, talk about consistency, people talk about environment, talk about habits. What is it for you that people need if they're going to lead and live an active lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, like I said earlier, you have to have it has to be part of your routine, right? You have to find what it is. Don't need to go and you have to find something that you enjoy doing, like whatever it is. If you haven't found it
Bring
yet,
joy.
then yeah, you have to enjoy what you're doing, because if you do something, and it's not what you enjoy, then you're always going to put it to the back of your list.
Yeah.
So make it something you fully enjoy. Like, I literally cannot wait to go and do the triathlons, the build up I need to do, the swim, bike, and run. I know it's going to be the best version of me. Like, you have to just enjoy it. You have to find it in your true self to find what it is. And there's so many hobbies and activities you can do, whether it's going for a walk and putting a podcast on. You before you know it, your health changes so much because you've just put that in your life, and you're also educating yourself as well. And then you might meet someone on the way, or you might, like, sometimes that's the best time to think, right? A lot of people have good ideas, and that's where they come up with opportunities. There's certain things that you can do just to find, yeah, it helps so much, like with your mindset. And I do believe, don't do anything that doesn't make you happy, because there's so much in life that you have to do anyway that's part of the
Unhappy.
rat run if you want. Yeah, so find that thing that you do that makes you happy, and if you haven't found it yet, go and try something new, because before you know it, that can be, your new hobby, your new interest, and it opens up a whole new world for you.
We're going to kind of wrap this up because it's been a while. I knew it was going to take a while, but
Yeah.
we've not even gone through a lot of things I still want to ask. But before
Yeah.
I do want to say, like, check out Lee Desert Dad or Oodles of Doodles drinks as well. You can find them on Instagram on two sides. You can find out about the healthy drinks. You call that?
Yes.
You call that?
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
And himself, and follow his journey as well. Mate, I want to do it quickly before we go into that, before you leave, is what is it that you do or you'd like to get out of the post himself? I know you see that you keep it raw, you keep it real,
Yeah.
but what is it that you hope, or the impact you're looking to have as Desert Dad?
Yeah, see, I've had a lot of conversations with people in the background, all over the world, and it's just, like, say, just sharing the journey with people, in terms of, like, it's not one for all, right? You don't have to be a certain way. Like, I've got so many parts of my life that I've not shared yet, but when the time comes, obviously, the gastric sleeve, everything like I've not mentioned on my platform. The busy lifestyle is kind of there in certain ways. But yeah, if I could just educate people in terms of, like, you can do the sports, you don't have to look, the perfect shape, the perfect figure, the perfect age. Like, it's for everyone, right? And especially, like, the main thing for me, especially in the UAE, is highlighting how good it is for sport, for fitness, for wellness. And I really want to be a strong advocate for that. Like, I've got the Sharjah Triathlon coming up hopefully this weekend, and even at 40 years old, if I hit my certain time target, there's a chance that I could represent the UAE in Spain next year, in Europe, for the triathlon. So there's opportunities, no matter how old you are. Like, they had the Open Masters Games, that was in
Yep.
Huduraya Island, and that was super cool. And there's just so much stuff in this region. Probably people don't know that they've got it, or you can do that. So, like I say, I'm an open book in terms of what I do, and I think a lot more people need to be reachable on these social media platforms in terms of, like, what they're showing, because everything does look, I see people, and you know that brands only go for certain people, but it's starting to change a bit more. It's evolving a lot more, that they know they have to start reaching out to the actual athletes, the people who are grinding it day to day, like the people who turn up on their sports, who have a busy life and a busy schedule. I commend them more than athletes in who do it, day to day, because that's, like, that's
Their
their
job.
job, right? Bottom line is that's what you're paid to do. And I know lads and girls who are athletes in certain things. Yeah. And of course it's hard, but that's their job. You're told to do that. You're paid to do that. You're sponsored that. We do this for fun. Like, we do this for we want to do it, right? So we're committing away from our family, away from our business, away from our life to do this. And if people can, understand that, we're all in it together, and we all just want to be, healthier and just share the journey. Like say, I never done it in terms of, any gratification or anything. I just speaking to more people, and they were saying about what I was doing, how I was doing. I was like, okay, I'll put a page together and see how it goes. And the views are coming up more, which is exciting. I'm not, I don't know where I stand in terms of like how the algorithm works or anything. I'm just posting me, right, sharing my life, and whether it's boring or not. But yeah, the feedback I'm getting and the messages I'm getting from people all around the world is like, exactly what I wanted to do it for. And it's really nice to receive that feedback from people. And just like I say, just commenting with people that probably are, like there's one chap, I'm not mentioning his name, but he's a guy who's just started to get into cycling. He's in the UK. He suffers with autism. He'd never come out of his house before. And he set up his page, and he's got millions of views now. And, he sends a message saying, thank you for your input, thank you for your feedback. That's what it's about for me, just helping people who, before he was just sat in his house and he wouldn't go out. And for God knows how many years, he would never step foot. And now because people have shared their stories and shared about cycling, he's now out and he's found a new self. And he's growing more and more. And he's obviously, he's going to have a knock-on effect, right? So it's like a domino, isn't it? You share it and everybody else, it'll just keep going on. And that's kind of what social media should be for. And that's nice to see. Like, I don't see the negative side. There's always going to be there, but if you can outweigh it with the positive, then we're winning the platform, right? That's the whole goal.
100%, mate. I love it. I absolutely love it. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for joining us today. Desert Dad, check it out on Instagram. Oodles of Doodles Drinks, check that out on Instagram and other social media platforms as well. Where can they find the drinks?
So in the UAE, they are in Carrefour, and you can get them online. Gibson's as well, we're in there, and also on our website. And look, if you're really nice to me, I might drop some drinks off if I see them. If anyone sees me, ask for a drink, and I'll sort you out. So
happy days. Awesome work, Lee. Thank you very much for your time and your advice, your input, and your thoughts. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it. Thank you.
If you joining us from wherever you are from around the world, make sure you do download Buzzer to upload your sports content onto the platform and tag in Find Fit People. Head along to findfitpeople.com. You can find activities we're building through here in Dubai. We'll have 1,000 listings of things to do that you can do around the region by the end of the month, the new month, I should say. And then we're going to continue to grow to other countries throughout the year. So stick with us as we find more people to share their experiences where you can relate. You can find advice, share opinions with them as well. But as always, stay active, stay fit, and find your fit with people.
Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help